standards.
Stop it.
I don't.
What are you doing? But then we'll be up in the wind. That's why we're going down here, you Norbert. Guy. All right then. Hello. 1, 2. Hello. Well, now you're going to be in the wind.
Well, you don't know yet, do you?
I can hear it.
Wait, I haven't...
Eh?
How's that? Hello.
Don't shout
Hello,
like-
testing.
Don't shout like a wanker. Look what you've done now. You've made it go into noise reduction.
Hello.
Since when did you become
I
Mr.
would like...
Mr. Recording Expert?
God, I wish I had a musical. I wish I had
Look,
a
it's
talent.
really miles away from your mouth.
What do you mean? It's
For
here.
fuck's sake. No, it's went over there.
Well, you look at yours.
Mine's pointing right out my gob.
Get it up there, guy. Stuff it right up next to the fucking...
How's that? Hello.
Say something now.
All right. And I would just like to say at this point that this whole thing has been a terrible mistake.
Cock end.
An appalling error of misjudgment. It's appalling misjudgment.
Bumble juice.
The like of which we've not had since
Since the decline of the Roman Empire.
Hague.
Since Hades rose again.
Right, okay, we're going then.
Yeah, why
I'd
can't
like
you
you-
sit down here?
Paul, I'm not sitting down there, okay? That's just stop asking me.
Well, I'm going to sit next to you then like an old man on a bench.
That's what I
Did
think
you
of
just
that.
trump?
That's what I think of that.
Did you just trump?
It's not called Trump.
A guy just trumped.
I wonder if it picked that up. That's pathetic, guy.
Right.
So I'm supposed to be down here at your feet like some sort of pupil.
Would you? Shall I introduce us, or will you?
You.
Welcome to the podcast, everybody. I'm sitting on a bench. Paul's on the floor in front of me. There's a big pigeon behind him, I can hear.
Cheers.
And out to the right is the sea. I hope you can hear it lapping.
Is it going to rain?
The sun is setting. No, it's not going to rain. And the sun is setting.
If it's going to rain, we fucking don't want to be out here, I'm telling you now.
No, we're going to nip in if it rains.
Or ruin the gear.
You're a little calamity merchant, aren't you? Drama queen.
Guy thinks,
You're a
since
little
we've been
drama
doing
queen.
it...
You can
since
just
we've been
pick
doing
it up, Paul, on the first drops coming.
Since we've been doing this podcast, Guy has decided that he knows everything about recording, suddenly.
That's my rum.
Won't you? Come on, Guy, admit it. You've become a bit of... I'm not going to teach you anything because you'll be insufferable. If I was to teach you about recording,
Paul
I would
doesn't want me to
never
know
hear
how
the
to
end
edit.
of it.
Paul doesn't want me to know how to edit.
I don't mind you knowing how to edit, Guy. I just don't think I'd ever hear the end of it.
How's my hair?
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we just have a
What's
little bit
happened
more
to
of a
your-
key light on Guy here?
What's
because-
happened to yours?
What do you mean?
Where was it? Your hair?
What do you mean? What's wrong with my hair?
Something up, Paul.
What's...
Oh, it's headphones you got on.
Oh, I've got my Alice band on.
I wonder what it was.
I used to wear an Alice band.
Did you?
Yeah, and I don't mean like a girl either, like a man.
Like a footballer?
Like an Italian. The first time I ever saw a man wearing a headband, it was an Alice band.
Italian.
It was Italian man. Back in the day. Woo boop doo doo. There he is. Woo doop doo 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 doop doo doo. That's the pigeon I was talking about. Woo doop doo 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 doop doo doo. Guy.
Yeah, Jamaican pigeon. Yeah, he's answering you. Great.
So anyway,
Dr. Doolittle.
welcome
Brian.
to the fucking whatever this is that we do every week, like a pair of fucking weirdos. Fucked if-
No, it's nice.
I don't know,
Don't
guys.
swear.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to swear, but it is a weird thing to do, to sit here talking like this.
It seems quite natural to me, actually. Sometimes
No,
sometimes
the
I
talking-
don't know whether or not to address the listener or to include the listener in on it. I don't really want to, but I have noticed I go,
Stop breaking the fourth wall.
yeah, people will know that we've already discussed this, or people perhaps need to know in order for this story to work that Frere is 4'10" and a half, things like that.
Hey. What?
But ouch,
I've got loads of ammo here to throw at a guy, actually.
got these
It's
sort
quite
of
good.
seeds off this tree.
Ammo.
Besida trees, Besida seeds they're called. Anyway, this pod's getting off to quite a slow start. Do you want to kick it forwards a bit?
Well, I was going to say that Guy's got he's got quite a big library here of unreadable books, but I did manage to find one that I thought, maybe I'll give that a go. Just mainly out
By any
of
chance by me?
deference from your youth. I did read your book while I was here, Guy, and it was very good. It is very good. It's called One People, and it's a
thank you,
very
Paul.
good book about this place. But then, after I finished that, it was a bit of a loose end, because not every book is compatible with being here. I have to say, you need something that sort of fits the vibe a bit. I think that's fair to say, isn't it?
I wonder what you mean when you're saying. What are you grasping at? What are you really trying to say there?
Well, I tried to read this science fiction book, and it just didn't. It was just jarring on me, so I stopped reading it. It wasn't one of yours, incidentally. But then
I do know what you mean. I don't. Yeah.
it was not. It didn't feel. Anyway, it didn't feel right. So I picked up The Man with the Golden Gun by. I think it was because of our conversation the other week or last week, whenever it was, about Bond, and him being written here by Fleming and everything. And I was very surprised to find out that what's he called?
Yeah, wasn't it Goldfinger?
Auric.
Wasn't it Goldfinger? you picked
Auric.
up?
Oh, I thought it was The Man with the Golden Gun. I'm going to start again. This
Well,
is
hold on. He must be
nonsense.
called Goldfinger if the man's called Goldfinger, isn't it?
Yeah, what am I on about? Okay, I'm going to start again.
No,
So,
it
anyway,
doesn't matter. It's fine.
I read
it's
this
an easy
book.
mistake to make. There are two. The Man with the Golden Gun, I think, was published after his death. Was it?
I don't know.
It's-
Anyway,
it's-
fuck that. I didn't read that. Listen,
You read
I read
Goldfinger,
Goldfinger.
yeah.
So I read Goldfinger.
Wow, the man with the spider touch, the man.
Go on, anyway. Go on, anyway.
So anyway, I was reading Goldfinger, and it turns out that Auric Goldfinger, Auric is his name.
He's who is like, for people, he is the Bond villain.
He's a super baddie.
Yeah, super bad. He kind of global takeover villain.
Global takeover. He plans to.
As bad as they can get, the Ian Fleming villain.
Yeah.
But he did have some strange details. in his
Strange
life, which
details,
Paul
which-
noticed.
Which I hadn't picked up on before, because I've got a little boat. That's regular listeners may know that I've got a little boat which is based in Faversham, near Faversham in Kent.
We're going on it actually. We're going to pod.
We're going to pod from it soon. But another strange thing that happened a strange fact that came to light was that Auric Goldfinger, his headquarters was at Reculver near Herne Bay, and
Which is what, a kind of village or town?
it's like a sort of pretty down at heel seaside village, which is just beginning to pick up a little bit because of Margate's success. But it's just beyond Whitstable and very near where my boat is.
Not where you would expect a Bond villain to be operating
No.
from. Not a mountain in Japan.
On the Isle of Thanet. This is where his headquarters is in the book. And his factory, his mysterious factory where he refines the gold, is called Thanet Alloys. Which sounds to me like a place where you'd get the rims right for your car, you know what I'm saying? Got some really wicked rims from Thanet Alloys. But not where Auric Goldfinger. And the other weird thing was how he got his gold. Do you know how he gets his gold in the book?
He's smelting it down from something.
He has a string of pawnbrokers, and he's fiendishly buying up gold from old ladies,
Right.
and melting it into bricks, and then selling it to the Indians.
And I think that you told me that it says, Ian Fleming says, or the narrator says rather, that he'd amassed the largest fortune in the world, wasn't it?
by doing this, yeah.
Running a chain of pawn shops.
now we know
Brit-
what CX are up to, and we buy out. Now we know what they're up to, Guy. Dashed fiendish plot, I must say.
It was basically before the globalization of evil. It was when evil was still on a kind of local.
It's almost an aside in the book that he manages to acquire a nuclear weapon with which to.
Does he?
Yes.
Oh yeah, because that's the whole plot, isn't it?
Well,
no, actually, it's not in this one.
In the book, he's going to
In the
use the
book,
nuclear weapon to blow the
Fort
bloody
Knox.
doors off.
Of Fort Knox, that's it.
Whereas in the movie, they're a bit more clever about it. And they say what he's going to do is irradiate the gold to
That's
make it
it.
worthless.
That's it.
The thing is, it's worthless anyway, really, isn't it? If you look at it on
Exactly.
that level.
just say it's worth more if it's irradiated.
Yeah, you could say, well, this irradiated gold's really special.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it fucking made me laugh, I tell you.
And Pussy Galore in the film is played as straight, really, isn't she?
She fancies Bond.
Yeah, she fancies Bond, which is not what you would expect normally.
No, he shags her at the end of the book.
And he shags her of a lesbian, which she clearly is in the book.
Yeah.
They un-LGBT'd it.
He does, there's a really bad bit where he starts talking about homosexuals and lesbians in the book, and he basically says, this sudden burst of lesbianism and homosexuality, it's mainly due to feelings of inadequacy, and I mean, it is properly racist and really chauvinistic.
Yes, it's amazingly racist about the Koreans, because Oddjob is the Korean, and every now and then Paul would go, as he's reading it, I can't, what?
I would have to read it
and
out.
you say, I've got to read this out to you guys. And it was like a paragraph of the most, textbook racism.
Really textbook racism.
About the Koreans.
But the other thing about the book, which I thought was quite something, was just basically how shit it was.
Yeah. He somehow had everyone by the nerve.
Yeah.
But the books, Doctor No is quite a good book, isn't it? But Octopussy is a weird little kind of short story. It doesn't really go anywhere. When it does, it's about a man killing himself.
Is it?
Yeah.
Why is it called Octopussy?
I think the plot is that a man at the
With 8 cats.
no, a secret
Fiendish
agent at the end of his life has done all that, has met every challenge that life could throw at him. And now the only thing he had to do was to go and spearfish, sounds a bit like Ed, my nephew, this this deadly fish, and he kills himself doing it. And it's like a kind of, I think it's a clear suicide, but if not, it's his final challenge, which he doesn't meet. He had, I wonder, if I remembered, one, I wonder if I remembered the plot correctly, because I often don't. And two, I think towards the end he knew he had cancer, and one thing I do know is that he did not give up smoking cigarettes, even when he knew he had cancer.
He just carried on smoking through it.
Yeah, I know, and defiant.
That's the way people work.
There are some people who refuse treatment. Anyway, it's a bit more than that.
Yeah.
It's Mother's Day today. Paul's mother died on Mother's Day. 11 years ago.
11 years ago.
He's been an orphan for 11 years.
11 years
A
officially.
little mudlark.
Yes.
And luckily I've taken him under my wing
A little,
and given the lad a chance in life.
A little street urchin.
I took him in and said, Paul, there's something in you. Don't give up on life.
Don't give up on life. Now clean these boots.
Do a little bit of gardening.
I've actually got to mow your lawn when I get back, which I've got mixed feelings about. I'm
don't.
going to do it.
I said
No, I'm
don't-
going
I
to do
said
it.
if you come-
I've got an
It's only
idea
'cause
for.
I've heard that it's very warm back there, and my lawnmower gets.
I've got an idea for a stripe pattern though, which I'm thinking about doing on your lawn.
Hilarious, Paul.
What do you think?
I'm sure whatever it would be. Huge bottom or something.
I was thinking of something more geometric.
Right, a swastika. Well,
Guy, I would never do a swastika on your lawn. People
weed
might get the
killer.
wrong idea.
Weed killer.
People might think you're a Hindu. Right, look, the thing is, right, Guy.
We did a gig last night. Well, Paul went and played in a bar, not my local bar, in a bar in the edge of the village. And he smashed it. They loved him. We did it with no amplification, and I don't think a lot of these Jamaicans have really ever seen music without any amplification. They're always holding at least a microphone, if not, other stuff. And they listened and they got into it. You played them Watching the Detectives by Elvis Costello, which I thought that's a fucking stretch, because one, they will 100% never have heard it.
Yeah.
And a couple of them said, what's he talking about? And when they said Watching the Detective, and there's quite violent lines in there,
Yeah.
about how can he be wounded, he hasn't got a heart.
Yeah.
And they soon latched onto that it was something to do
They
with
love that.
police and violence and all that.
Yeah.
Anyway, they absolutely adored it. And Paul was king of the bar.
Well, it was nice. It was nice to do something, that you wouldn't normally do. A couple of local lassies came down as well and had a go. There was some white girl Dem who were in the area. They came down and had a go. And they were really good too. Bit of folk music and stuff. It was a very nice evening. But the bar, I mean, we should say the bar, it looked like the average outdoor loo in England back in the 50s, or perhaps a tool shed. If you imagine a tool shed, really.
Yeah, I said, you know, it's got the typical kind of Jamaican corrugated iron, rusty corrugated iron, and nailed round a yard.
Yeah.
And I said it looks just like an 80s MTV video, or what they wanted it to look like. So a genuine Jamaican yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Bowie singing "Let's Dance"
Absolutely.
outside,
Outside an outrageously poor imitation of it.
Poverty chic.
Yeah, yeah. And I noticed that 2 festivals now have a whole bit where they try and reproduce a sort of Jamaican yard aesthetic. There's one at Pilton, and there's another one somewhere else. Someone told me.
Is it raining? I can feel rain spots.
No, it's not.
Yeah, well, it's happening everywhere, isn't it? Because people are searching for authenticity, Guy.
Are they?
And let's face it, there fucking isn't much. When is there? Well,
Because people are always doing something for the reason that they're not telling you,
money.
basically, but not always money. Something else: power, sex, food.
Or
Without really fessing it. Why are we doing this pod?
fun. Well, we started to do it, didn't we? I don't know why we started to do it, because you said let's have a go and see if we can do it. I think we started to do it for fame and riches, but now we've realised that we might as well do it anyway.
Yeah, right. But that we can put those 2 ideas on hold.
Yeah. It was nice to go past 30, though.
30 pods, yeah.
Oh.
30 pods. It's been quite easy, actually.
So I'm going
Can
back.
you hear the water there from the sea? It's so pretty. I don't know if you can catch it on the mic. It's just sort of slushing and gulping at the rocks. The pulse from the storm. We had a storm. The pulse and it stopped. And instead of there being a pulse on the water, it's just sort of shimmying around.
Yeah, storm was quite
pushing and
exciting.
shoving very gently at the rocks. It's so beautiful. What are you going to say? You're going home?
I'm going home soon.
I'm going home.
I'm going home, and I'm going to put my affairs in order.
What does that mean?
Well, that's what I'm going. I don't mean I'm dying. I mean I've just got a lot of affairs to put in order.
Have you written a will?
No, I haven't. Do you think I should?
Well, I could give you some suggestions for worthy causes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking if there's a charity close to my heart, which I think you can
What
maybe
would that be
subscribe to. Just, I tell you what, just leave it to me and I'll make sure it's properly looked after,
Distributed.
distributed amongst the needy.
But what happens, Guy, in the unlikely event that I outlive you?
Well, then it doesn't matter. Oh, I see. You have to find someone else to give it to.
Yeah. I'll have the inconvenience then of having to rewrite my will.
Have you
What
really
is
not
it?
got a will?
What do you want of mine anyway? What could you possibly be interested in?
I'm trying to think that the recording equipment.
You can have that.
Okay. Some of your work, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah. My boat.
No, the boat I couldn't handle, but I could handle some of your work. Some of the more domestic stuff that I can actually get in my house.
All right. Eh?
Some of the fully industrial stuff is
Well,
too
why don't you just
overwhelming.
buy some, you tightwad?
Because the prices are totally legitimately, I will say, high.
They're not high. When you consider the amount of effort and work that goes into them, I could do your mates' rates anyway. These and terms, a repayment plan.
What, you think I'm going to owe you money?
Just don't look at it like that, Guy.
Okay, well, we can talk, Paul, but
Get it now. It's never going to be cheaper.
that's the way. That's the way.
You're never going to get a deal like you'll get today.
Well, I look forward to you having a show and us podding from your
Fuck,
show.
so do I.
I hope in the next 12 months we're podding from your
If
show.
that ever happens, I think
That would be really
a bit
exciting.
of a tall order.
I'm sure you'll get a show.
Well, you know, if anyone's listening
I
out
mean,
there,
you know, another show.
I'd quite like a show in Japan. If anyone's got any ideas,
Would
about
you?
Oh, I'd love to have a show in Japan.
Well, because the food or what?
Food,
'Cause
culture.
they haven't heard of you there.
Never been there.
Right.
And
You
Japanese
mean-
people
they
are
d-
very,
And they don't know who you are.
they're very enthusiastic.
In what manner? Oh,
They
too
just go
much.
mental.
Yeah, yeah. Too much though. They're kind of. Actually, I don't. I'm going to sound like
Guy.
Ian Fleming.
It's textbook racism coming out.
No, but you know, do you remember the Japanese punks?
Which
There'd be like
ones?
an ant trail of them from Soho, from Sloane Square
An
Tube
ant trail.
down to Vivian Westwood's shop in New King's Road.
Mm.
And they would come down and they'd buy their little tartan trousers with the ties.
Bondage gear on.
Yeah, and then they would ant trail back to Sloane, and there were always a couple of Japanese walking either west or east on King's Road with some seditionary or what was the name of their? Was it called World's End?
Yeah.
Their shop.
Okay.
It was called Seditionaries. It was called Sex, and it was called World's End.
There was a couple of good Japanese punk bands though.
What?
Yeah, Shonen Knife, they were good.
They don't have that. I don't think they have it. The wherewithal,
Shonen
do
Knife
they?
guy, they did that version of On Top of the World. You're with me sitting on top of the world. That one. I'm on the top of the world looking down on creation.
You are right on the edge, Paul.
Top of the world. Well, if you know
are
this
right on the
record,
edge.
if you know
You
this
are
record,
right
you will
on the
know
edge
that
of
that was a
something.
very accurate rendition. And what about the Frank Chickens? They were really good. Guys, just like look at him. He's really out of his depth now.
Give me another Frank Chicken lyric.
That was Shonen Knife. That
Okay,
one.
give
And
me
it was
Frank Chicken.
it was actually a Carpenter's song.
Do you want to do something very useful right now?
Yeah, go on.
Would you get me another rum while I sit here?
I say, chop chop, Jandy Jandy, get me a rum, will you, boy? Rum boy, rum bummy,
Waller.
rum waller, rum chummy,
Well,
wally.
both of us can't go.
Well, no, we can.
I'll go then.
We can take this with us. So we just go stumbling in there and get the rum.
Yeah, okay.
And it's going to crackle like fucking it.
No,
I'll
don't
just
move
pause
it.
it.
Don't move it. Don't move it. I'm writing a book at the moment, and occasionally Paul is in earshot of me, and I just ping bits of the plot back and forward with him to help me to try ideas out and to see if they might be amusing. It's quite fun actually, a sounding board.
Yes, I quite like that.
Yeah, I can see Paul is like he's I don't know, maybe you knew a bit about writing novels before, but you can see what fun it is when it's going well. When it's going badly, it's horrible.
You know, I could see
It's
that you're
horrible.
inventing a little world. It's
Yeah,
a bit like
yeah.
it's a bit like playing The Sims on your computer. Completely blank expression.
I do know what The Sims are actually,
Do
but
you?
and I've never managed to do it. I thought, oh, I'd like to do that because I thought that's up my alley. Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
But isn't it all like you've got to make a little sort of stupid little box house?
It's blooming slow.
Right.
I mean, you've got to be very patient, I think. But I think kids like
My
that,
children
don't
did it briefly, but then they got bored of it.
they? Yeah, it is. I think it's pretty boring.
I don't think Ella ever goes near a computer game now.
Does she not?
Don't think so. And she's 27, and James, who's 25 or 20, 24, 25. I hardly ever see him on it now. He watches a fair amount of telly. He likes to leave a nice imprint on the sofa, good man.
I liked Grand
He's
Theft
very-
Auto.
he's
Did you ever play that? It was
Yeah, I
brilliant.
never- yeah.
I had a car and I used to go around with a machine gun and you could just kill people and run them over. And then I stole a helicopter and landed in someone's back garden. You could just go in and kill them and everything. But do you think that's what's making the world a worse place and making people
You
kill
thought that
each
was clever, did you?
It's a game, guy. It wasn't real.
You think it's clever to have a game which children are rewarded for raping people?
What are you on about? I never raped anybody.
I think there wasn't the one thing where you could grab a girl and get her into your car.
I don't know. I never did that.
Well, okay,
Trust you to find that
robbing
feature.
banks. No, I just think it's reprehensible. It's a horrible thing.
Did you play
First time I saw it and I realised what it was, that it was like a really amoral world, I wept.
Did you? Did you?
inside.
Where did you see it?
I remember I saw it in Wales when the children were very young.
And who had it?
A friend's child brought it round and put it on. And I said, what? And you can just go off the pavement and run that person down and not
The
be
police will
punished
come
for it.
after you.
No, well, not in this case. He was
No, they
just-
did. The police came after you if you...
And then they stopped worrying. They stopped getting surprised when people do that outside mosques. Paul, you have quite a lot to answer for, you and your kind.
What?
The people who advocate this
It was
kind
a game, Guy.
It's not just a game.
It was just a game in this case.
Well, everything's a game.
I never ran anybody over,
Everything is a game.
on purpose anyway.
I just don't think children should be trained to run things over for a laugh.
Well, no, but you know that. I mean,
profit.
do you know what? Where this came from, though. These games, you know where they came from? From the
America.
American military. They used them to train soldiers.
Is that where they came from?
Yep.
Do you know that, or have you just made that up?
No, I know it for a fact.
An argument. Okay. So what military game? What military? What purpose? What military purpose?
What do you think? You can go into a village where you've never been and know it by like the back of your hand. And they put people where all the snipers they think they're going to be, and you can shoot them. So when you drop down into a proper village with your night vision gear on, you already know the village like the back of your hand. You already know where the snipers are going to hide. Pish, pash, pock. You can kill them all. This is what they do, Guy. That's what they do in the CIA.
Yes, yes.
You know, these incompetents who don't know what they're doing.
Oh yes, so that's why Black Hawk Down went so well, wasn't it? Of
Well,
course.
it was-
and of course the murder of
Black Hawk Down. What was that?
Osama bin Laden. That went so well. They crashed a helicopter in his garden.
Well, obviously it's not foolproof.
Well, no kidding.
I'm just saying, Guy, that's where those horrible things come from. Those algorithms are written
Are they?
for military simulations.
Are we closing down that part of the army as well? Should we close down all data?
Close down the army.
Brexit's going to be a little bit harsher than you all thought. Here is a pair of scissors. Here is the internet cable. Click. Right.
Yeah.
Got you lot where you want.
Blowing
Back
up
to
all
the
the-
television. BBC
Blowing up
2.
all the what is it? All the big dishes all collapsing.
No,
This sounds like
satellites.
Pol Pot. Sounds like the Year Zero guy.
Pol Pot. Right. Let's just examine it. It's
Pol.
not a good thing. No,
It's
no,
not
no.
a good
No, no,
thing.
no. I hated that anyone who could read a book was sent. Anyone who had glasses.
They put
had
blue
their
plastic
glasses-
bags on their
had
heads
their
and killed them.
glasses removed
Yeah.
because it was a sign of being an intellectual.
Yeah, and they put a blue plastic bag on them and killed them.
It got so bad in Russia, I was reading, that one person wore a orange sweater at a university campus. Is this in none of your books? It
Have you
wasn't
made
that
this
you-
up?
No, I didn't. And it ended up with there being a kind of pogrom of his whole form because they felt that it was free. Too much free thought was going on there under Stalin. I mean, it sounded so just sad and pathetic.
Yeah.
That was
They've gone too far the other way in America,
That
though.
was considered too much of a threat to authority that someone wore a jersey a different colour to everyone else.
Too far the other way in America, though.
What, too many coloured jerseys?
No, too
Yeah.
many wankers doing whatever they want.
Whatever the fuck they want. What would we do with America? Close it down.
Dunno.
Sell it off. No. What I might do is say, okay, you are because you're too big to fail. So we're gonna split you up into like 12 countries.
Break them up.
Break them up. Break them up and
They'd
sell
be
them
at
off.
war all the time if you did that.
Fine. That's what they did with let them. That's what they want to do, the Americans, isn't it? They like their
want to
guns
have a
and
war.
everything. Yeah, they want to have a war. Let them do it over there. Give them something to fight about.
Give it what, fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, give like Connecticut to the Mexicans. Give Manhattan to the Colombians.
Brilliant.
No, we can't do that. That's not fair. That's not fair.